It just feels like I'm trying to pull molasses from a like teeny tiny hole, and that was a terrible analogy. And then just the ideas just went whoosh. Let me start with saying hello. I'm Anna. I write. Just doing a short little chat here today. In this challenge in November, I am writing a new story, brand new to me, and in doing that, I keep coming across problems. So today I would like to walk you through one of the many things that I use, that I actually just used recently the other day to solve a problem in my novel that I'm working on. For November, I'm working on a fantasy novel, and I had a lot of ideas that I was really excited about. I was a lot of themes I wanted to play with and all of these things. But what wasn't working is I couldn't get the magic to work. And I couldn't figure out, because I'm a pantser, this is a thing. I was trying to figure out how the magic works, but also in real time, like with my characters. Part of the process is writing and kind of figuring it out and then having to back up and brainstorm and again, then kind of restarting. That's very much how I work, and I'm okay with that. So I was having this problem with the magic. What I was having trouble with is I wanted to have this ability and this ability and this ability and this ability, and I wanted all these characters to have these different abilities, but I didn't have a way to make the magic system. I couldn't figure out how to make my magic system have all those abilities and to like unify all of those things. So as I do most things, I start to verbal process with my husband because he's a great sounding board. So I was verbal processing with him, and he reminded me of Brandon Sanderson's 3 Laws of Magic. Oh, here we go. Sanderson's Laws of Magic. So these are just laws that a guy made up and that he follows for his magic system. They are not prescriptive for all things and all people. Let's get that out of the way. But they are helpful diagnostically. I find these 3 principles helpful for tying the cool thing, which is magic in fantasy, to the main thing, which would be the plot. Getting those 2 together is always a struggle for me. I always get very excited about my characters and my themes and the cool thing, and forget to like, oh yeah, there has to be a compelling plot that like ties us all together. That's just a personal problem I have. It's okay. It's fine. All right. I was walking through, how do I get these 5, it was like 5 different abilities unified in a magic system. How do I do that? So the first law. Sanderson's first law is the author's ability to solve conflict with magic is directly proportional to how well the reader understands the magic. Problem number 1 for me is I didn't understand how the magic works, so therefore I couldn't explain it, obviously, to my readers. But I did understand how this magic would be, like the abilities I had in mind, tied into the kind of bone structure I have in my brain of what the plot is and what the character developments are. So it was already integrated. So that was really helpful for me, is to be like, okay, no, these things work for solving conflict. These things work for character development. These things will work for solving the problems I see ahead of my characters, of like, because of this belief in this character and this belief in this character, we have conflict because this is our villain and this is what our villain wants. Like, that already worked. So first law, we passed, other than the explaining part, but we're working on it. Second law, it goes like this: limitations are more important than powers. Powers are fine. Powers are great. What are the limits of the power? What are the restrictions? Because that is far more interesting than the cool things. It's basically the problem with like Superman. He has too many cool powers. He can do too much. He has no limitations other than a green crystal, which is not interesting. It's more interesting to have limitations and restrictions and costs and those kinds of things. Okay, so what is the limitation of all the things that these people can do? What is that limitation? The third law, however, I think was kind of the nail on the head for me. is the third law is expand on what you have before you add something new. It is way easier and way more fun to just keep adding my ideas, because I have a lot of them, to just keep piling on ideas and be like, one of these will solve it. It's fine. Instead of actually digging deep into the first two ideas or the one idea. That helped a lot to just think, okay, narrow it down. What is the core story here? What is the core of my main character? My core for my main character, all right, here we're going with a little bit of spoilers. It's not going to really ruin anything. The core for my main character is that she loves plants. She loves plants. She also loves her sister and would do anything for her sister. She also is a very snarky, sassy lady who has issues with her mom because her mom has expectations that she doesn't meet because they don't align with her personality, and these expectations don't align with how she views the world and what she wants to do with her life. That's interesting. So my husband recommended, this is a shout out to him. He's over there. Hi, shout out to you. Is dig into that. So what if this world has magic plants and magic flowers? What would the results of that be? And then just the ideas just went whoosh. Like once that, just like, okay, narrow it down to this one thing. And the one thing is the main character's thing. And that thing is plants. Okay. And it was so good because then all of the ideas that they just started flooding and just like, and what was really exciting for me, the story started making sense and the story started crawling away from me and was like, oh, it's showing up. There it is. It's coming to life in front of my eyes. Then if this is true, then that is true. And then, and it went so quickly in my brain. I like had it all within like 30 seconds. Hello. So just having tools like these to use to solve problems is really helpful for when you get stuck. Because I think for me, particularly, this is really helpful because when I'm writing the first drafts are super hard for me. Super hard because it just feels like I'm trying to like pull molasses from a like teeny tiny hole and it's like coming out so slowly. Oh, it's so hard. That was a terrible analogy. Anyways, it's really helpful for me to have, as problems arise, I'll just share, hop on like this and do a little short video of just sharing what I have found to be helpful. If anybody has any ideas about names, that is one of my biggest problems, is naming things. I'm so bad at naming things. That's for another time. Maybe that'll be my next video. Anyways, I haven't done my writing for today, so I'm going to go do that. You do your writing as well. And happy writing, friends. Happy November. And I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.